Here we go.
All right.
Good evening, ladies and germs. Painfully Honest Tech Podcast is back. Oh my goodness, I can't speak. We got a stuffy nose.
Do you remember the name of the show?
Painfully Honest Tech Podcast.
There you go.
So, back with a regularly scheduled show that isn't packed with all kinds of stuff, interviews and such. But we got plenty of interesting things to talk about. We have to talk about product reviews in general. And we'll get into that here in a second. We're going to also talk about the announcement that just came out this afternoon about products that Apple is releasing perhaps soon. But in order to talk about that, we also have to talk about this whole thing that's going on that's impacting the entire world at this point, and how that might impact the tech world for this year. So,
Are we not allowed to say the words?
No. This isn't monetized, so we could, but YouTube frowns upon it. They even caught on to the cerveza flu.
Oh.
No, yeah. I don't think they caught on to the cerveza flu. I think that if you have the tech on the screen, then the algorithm will catch the spelling of it, and then
Right. So, yeah, and we've got some other stuff. 14-inch MacBook Pro and Ming-Chi Kuo had some interesting stuff come out. So we are going to talk about a lot of things. But first, people, and I want to really emphasize this. We have a sponsor. That sponsor is Audible. You can go to audibletrial.com/painfully honest tech and try out Audible free for 1 month. Get 1 book and 2 Audible originals, which are kind of cool. And then, a little money comes our way because Papa it's been a rough late winter, early spring. So if you like audiobooks, go get it. If you don't know if you like audiobooks, go try it. That's what I say. So, again, this evening we have with us the inimitable Zach Talks Tech, and of course the man about tech, Mr. Viper.
Yeah.
How are you? What do you guys have to say for yourselves this evening?
What you got to say for yourself, Zach? Woo! Oh my goodness! Well played.
I don't have my own sound piece, so I'll just use yours.
Yeah. What about you, Viper?
I don't have much to say, but I think this first topic is going to be highly interesting for all of you all watching tonight, because we are about to talk about what a reviewer should and shouldn't say about a review unit as it's given to them by the company. So this is going to be good.
I also want to remind people before we go into the topics, I want to remind people that we are now publishing this as an audio podcast pretty much weekly, as long as I don't almost have a heart attack on the day I'm supposed to publish it, which happened last week. So go to Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast purveyor you choose and subscribe to this Painfully Honest Tech Podcast. Tell your friends, tell your family. We like to talk to everybody. And it would really help out. If you get to one that has a rating system, then rate us 5 stars and give us a review that says how handsome and amazing we are.
I gave us a review, but I might be biased.
Oh, yeah. That's okay, though. I appreciate it. So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to be maybe a little bit in the weeds on the YouTube side.
Man, I just want to burst into.
But it's
right now.
it also affects what we watch on YouTube and how things are covered, and the overall discussion about products, etc.
Yeah.
So, Viper, why don't you intro us to this, because I think you've been involved in the conversation a little bit more.
Sure. So there's been a sort of a debate going on Twitter within the last week in the tech community about the way us as tech reviewers should deal with and disseminate information as it relates to review unit. So basically, this all emanated from Samsung handing out their Galaxy S20 Ultra review unit to, you know, all the different tech reviews and things like that. Well, as they were doing their initial testing, a lot of people discovered that the autofocus in the Galaxy S20 Ultras wasn't up to snuff. I mean, it's kind of a big deal since that is the main selling point of the camera. Not the camera. That is the main selling point of the phone is the camera system. So if the autofocus isn't working properly, that's kind of a problem. Now, the issue comes in the fact that Samsung was made aware of this issue or whatever, and Samsung has since stated that they are planning on releasing an update or patch, if you will, down the road. But the debate and the issue comes into question is the reviewers are giving these review units a week before or 2 weeks before these products go on sale to the mass public. You listening to this podcast right now, all of you all. So basically, what's happening here is that the review units that the reviewers get aren't really like pre-production units, or as some people will tell you. No. These are actual retail units that reviewers are getting a week or two in advance. So I think the issue is, if there is an issue with the review units, knowing that these are the actual retail units that will go on sale to the mass public, there is no way that we as reviewers should be withholding any information, no matter if an update is coming or not. Now, if a company tells you that an update is coming down the line, then yes, make sure you tell your viewers that information. But to hold your review off, because that's the other side of the debate, should you put the review out as is with the device that was provided to you, or should you hold off on the review until after the update has been released and whatever problem's been patched? Nah, I think we all on the panel can agree that we review the product as it's given to us, because 99% of the time, that is the same product, and that is the same way that the average consumer will get the product. Because like I said earlier, these are not pre-production units that we're getting most of the time. What we're getting is actual retail units. We're just getting them a week or two early to do the review. So if these review units are having issues, then we need to reclude. These need to be recluded. The issue needs to be included in the actual review. Now, there's a whole nother debate about how soon is too soon to do a review. I'm not really getting into all that tonight. What I'm saying is that if you're going to put out a review of the review unit, put out a full review detailing the problems that you're having. And like I said, if the company says the patch coming, then include that information as well. But to hold the review back and wait for an update, you're doing a disturbance to your fans, your audience. You're doing a disturbance to the company as a whole, because they shouldn't be putting those units in your hands like that if they don't want it reviewed like that. I know Zach has a lot to say about this. I'm going to let Zach do what he does.
It's a review unit. You review it as is. There's no more conversation. And I mean, we've seen in the past, like Viper said, where a company may send out a device to reviewers in advance, and they'll put like a detailed catalog in there, and maybe all the extras and cases and things like that, so you can fully showcase everything. And there might be a disclaimer in there, this is pre-production, there may or may not be a update coming down. Okay, so you include that bit of detail in your review. In this case, now let's be really clear here, Samsung hasn't really dived into this at all. They've just said that we're going to fix it. That's all they've said. But they never sent out a note or anything like that with these review units in advance saying, hold off or anything. They didn't do that. This is just a debate between influencers and reviewers, et cetera, anything like that. But I mean, if you're sending out a review unit, you're going to review it as is and not make excuses. I'd love to call it some people right now that are making excuses that maybe for the poor performance of a device.
Feel free to call out people, because I'm going to. Okay. I'm going to start right now by saying, okay, if you've been watching the bigger YouTubers that we all watch, they've had this phone for a month. They've had this phone since before the event, right? And so if you've watched their S20 Ultra coverage and they have not made mention of this, then they didn't review the phone. Then they basically lied to you. Now, Michael Fisher is always really good about this. I haven't seen his Note 20 Ultra coverage, but he'll always include, like, this or that is happening. Samsung's promising a firmware update. So all that's all you have to say. I watched Austin Evans's video last night. He didn't say boo about this problem.
Michael Fisher did add a bit at the end of his saying that talking about basically this debate and saying that anything that's changed, I will include in the description down below.
Right.
But other than that, that's his review. Like that's the unit was sent to him, and that's also what he said in his Twitter thread as well. Like, this is the unit you sent me. I'm going to review it as is.
Yeah. I mean, Samsung's doing a lot of things with who they send phones to and why they're sending them to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they're leaning a lot on what we might call micro influencers.
Yep.
And these micro influencers are just happy to be at the party, and I don't blame them. They're happy to be at the party, and they're happy that Samsung's paying attention to them. And it's really difficult when you have no real power to then say negative things about a product that was given to you for free, and they've been whining and dining you and bringing you to their parties and all this other stuff. And it's very difficult for you to actually be fully honest, because you have been biased by their treatment of you, especially if you're a smaller creator who is there, but only the grace of Samsung. So if you don't hear this stuff from people, these people aren't telling you the truth. And that's the straight up, if you watch a review of the Galaxy Ultra 20, whatever, if you watch a review of that phone and you don't hear anything about the camera except for, maybe some mumblings about how the 100 times zoom is crap, then you're being lied to. And the whole question of whether or not, when sent a review unit, if you get that review unit, people are actually asking, well, should I review it as is or should I wait until they fix it? My question is, do you work for Samsung or are you your own person? Do you work for Samsung? Then hold on to it. Wait until they tell you that everything's perfect. And then you'll give the audience just what they deserve for watching you. And if you are your own person who has your own opinions, who has your own just straight up agency to be here and have your opinions on YouTube about products, then tell people the truth. Tell people the truth. And don't worry that Samsung might not invite you to their parties anymore, because who cares?
So I talked about this.
None of that matters.
I talked about this a little bit on Twitter, and it's funny that you say that it's interesting being a small creator that you have no power because the bigger brands invite you to their events and things like that. I don't know if I would agree with all that. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're trying to accomplish on the platform, but what you do, everything that you do as it relates to your creativity and your career and what you do on YouTube is your choice. It doesn't matter if a brand is sending you somewhere or not. You ultimately have to make the decision of how honest you want to be with your reviewers. And I would always argue for the viewers. My thought process is, this brand would not be paying no attention to me. I would not be where I am on the platform today if it wasn't for my viewers. So my first responsibility and loyalty always is to my viewers, because they are the reason why I'm in this position to be noticed by this brand. So as a creator, we should always be loyal to our viewers first. And I always tell y'all, don't care about a damn brand, because the brand don't care about you. They don't care about you.
No, I mean, they're looking. So there are a few people who I have in mind, and I'm not going to name anybody in this arena, because they're on the hustle. They're trying to build up their thing, and like you said, it's their choice to do whatever, whether they're doing it right or they're doing it wrong, or doing it the way they want to do it, or what they see is correct. But I want to offer a wake-up call to anybody who gets review units to think about what you're doing. Think about what you're doing. You are giving customers who are spending over $1,000 information about what is a very large purchase for them. It's like a spectator sport for you because you are geeked out about tech, but for them, this is a lifestyle decision. So if you leave stuff out, if you cut corners because somebody is just like, I still want to be invited to the party, then you're doing a disservice to the people who got you there, as Viper just said. So my whole thing at the end of the day is like, I think that nobody should get a review unit. Nobody, the even playing field. Nobody gets a review unit. Go out and buy it, and then tell us what you think. Put your money on the table. Cash on the barrelhead. Put your money on the table, especially bigger YouTubers. Because they don't have anything. I mean, it's not. They're not going to lose anything. They are the most influential, and so if they're getting to this place where they are complacent, they aren't really, in reality when it comes to these devices, and they like to be part of the whole milieu of the whole thing, then they're not doing their job. So I think that everybody should buy their own review unit.
I've always felt that the best reviews were always from people that purchase their own device, smaller reviewers, people that are under 10,000, maybe under 20,000, under kind of that realm, that are generally they love the tech and everything like that, and they were planning on getting one anyway, right? Because one, you're getting a real device, like that's the retail unit that everyone else is going to get, same software, hardware, et cetera, and two, and there's no bias there to possibly sway. They were invited to this, they were given that, et cetera. Right. So like many of your reviews, like Jason, you've only ever been sent a Pixel device, I believe, right? That's it.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I've been to Samsung events. I was never given a review unit.
Mm-hmm. Viper's never been sent a unit, right?
By Samsung, no.
So, and I've never been sent a unit from anybody. So, and these are some of the best reviews on between the three of us. We have some of the best reviews out there, and there's plenty of other people in our same, I guess, circle of peers or influencers, or whatever you want to call them, that also do the same thing, that buy their own, right? So
I think a lot of you all talking about how MKBHD went pretty in depth with the camera and the issues and things like that, and he did. Like, it was kind of interesting watching him review, because he went way deeper than I think I've ever seen him go on a particular piece of part of a smartphone before. It was very interesting content. So yeah, shout out to Marquez for that lesson in camera tech and things. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't watched this video yet. I try not to, since I don't have a review unit, I try not to watch anybody else's anything until I have the phone myself. I may not be getting the phone. I might not get it.
I am the same way, but I don't plan on making a full review video for the Ultra 20, so I don't really care in this particular instance. So
yeah, I mean, and maybe that's it. I mean, I think we've made our point here about the product reviews. If you are reviewing a product, you are not part of the manufacturer's, the company's team. You're a part of your viewers' team, your community's team, right?
Yep.
Companies like to give you that sense that you're valued and desired and everything else, but they don't give a crap. They don't give a crap. And if they wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire, if it wasn't going to do them something good. So just ignore people and call them out in their comments. If they don't talk about something, if you feel like they're being dishonest, call them out. People call me out enough. I'm perfectly willing to do it, to hear them. So, I mean, I guess, that's the segue that we could use into talking about the fact that the phones are going to be out here in a couple of days.
Yes. Mine will be here in 2 days. Yeah.
And yeah, like I say, I don't know if I'm going to go get one.
So real quick, people will keep asking me about this whole Samsung content thing or whatever. So let me give you all the detail what happened, because this shocked the hell out of me too.
It's a Twitter thing that you didn't even know you were even part of. It's actually quite brilliant how they did it.
It is. So during the Unpacked event, like a few weeks ago, 504 super chat. What's up, bro? Thank you for the super chat.
He doubled it.
He doubled the normal.
Doubled it.
So it's 10:08.
No doubt. So back during the Unpacked event, Samsung was running an unbeknown promotion. They were basically they were tallying up scores among people who were tweeting about the event the most, who were most excited about the event, things like that. And nobody knew this was happening. I didn't know. The people that are on the leaderboard didn't know. Like, if you guys go to Samsung Mobile US and the Twitter account, they have a leaderboard from the Unpacked event. So you can see all the people that were tweeting the most about the event, things like that. So Samsung, what they did was they took the leaderboard and I guess the top 10 people that were on the leaderboard, Samsung is giving out prizes to. The prizes are S20 Ultras and things like that, Galaxy Buds. So somehow, unbeknownst to me, I was a part of this, and I came in fourth on the leaderboard. So they sent me a DM saying, "All right, Viper, we see that you enjoyed Unpack with us. We're gonna gift you with a Galaxy S20 Ultra and a pair of Galaxy Buds Plus." So Samsung is actually sending me as a prize, not a review unit, as a prize, a Galaxy S20 Ultra and the Buds Plus. At the time, I didn't know that they were sending me an S20 Ultra. I thought they were sending me a regular S20. So I went ahead and pre-ordered the S20 Ultra anyway. I pre-ordered the 512 because I wanted the Bohemoth. So I did that pre-order. I brought that with my own money. I pre-ordered that. Had to go through a whole rigmarole of Verizon about that. I won't even get to that. But I pre-ordered an S20. The prizes that Samsung are giving out aren't even coming until April. So I'm glad I pre-ordered. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have a damn phone until April. So the phone that's coming for me on Thursday is the one I brought with my own money. And then in April, Samsung is going to send me the prize S20 Ultra, and then I'll figure out what to do with that when that time comes. But yeah, that's that.
Jason, for the people watching, I've shared the leaderboard screen.
I'm gonna pull that up now.
This is from yesterday. Tech Rant is first.
Okay, I have to be careful what I say here because I respect the people that are on this list, and they didn't know they were on the list. So, but this is the kind of stuff. These are the kind of shenanigans that really bother me when a company puts something like this into their marketing plan, because they're just trying to get people to like. So next year, everybody's going to know that they did this year. So people are going to be tweeting their asses off.
Mm-hmm.
And just trying to get the free phone. And then they're going to be so happy they got the free phone that they'll never say a negative thing about Samsung. Yeah.
That is, I mean, you know what, Jason, for a large percentage of the population, that is true. But I got a free Pixel 4 last year, and I did a 27-minute review on the Pixel 4, largely not being very nice with the phone. So that doesn't always work, but mostly it usually works.
Yeah. I mean, you don't expect a Pixel 5. I can tell you from experience. Don't expect a Pixel 5 because, yeah, they took me off that list too sweet. Which is actually, you know, people are like, "Oh, Jason Salty, you didn't get invited to the thing. You didn't get the free phone, whatever." Every once in a while, whatever you do for your job, and I do this for my job, you know, so it would be beneficial to me in some ways to be able to go to these events, but I'm not going to do it at the expense of kissing Samsung's ass or anybody else.
You know what, Jason, like you were saying, this is actually brilliant because when I first got the DM from Samsung, I'm like, all right, they must be DMing me because I'm like a micro influencer or whatever the case may be. And now that I look at the leaderboard, now some of these people are just regular people, but some of these people are actual influencers too. So I'm like, this is definitely some type of marketing plan dressed up as a contest. Now, people are saying that this is not that, but I think that this is a marketing thing dressed up as a contest, and this is how they're doing it, and this is what they choose to do. And it, like Jason said, it's quite brilliant because now you're going to get people on Team Samsung gushing about Samsung and things like that. And don't forget, now that this is out there, we're having another Samsung event, provided it doesn't get canceled later on this year, but there's another Unpack later on this year. So if people know that this is happening, now they're going to be, like Jason said, they're going to be more due for the Note 20 event, assuming that's still happening. And I don't know if Samsung's going to do this again for the Note 20, but I would have to believe they will. And this is what it's going to happen. This is what it's going to be.
I don't recognize any of the names on here except for two of them. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't either. But it doesn't matter. Anybody who doesn't think this isn't part of Samsung's marketing plan is a naive fool. Just a straight up fool, because Samsung is not giving this away out of the goodness of their heart. They're not giving away phones out of the goodness of their heart. That you are part of their marketing plan. If you are one of the people, for better or worse, Viper, you're part of the marketing plan.
I'm well aware.
and if you're naive enough not to think that you are, then I don't want you reviewing products anyway. I mean, if you're that easily swayed by, you know, you just see your name in bright lights here on Twitter, on Samsung's page, and you just say, "Oh, Samsung, turn me over."
Oh my God! Whoa!
You know, I worked in marketing and advertising for a long time before I started teaching, before I started doing this, right? And marketing people, advertising people, they only care about getting the sales. They only care about getting the sales. That's all they care about. They don't see people behind what they're doing. They don't care. And I mean, I don't blame them. It's a normalized situation for them. Their job is to get people to buy the stuff. So they'll try everything that they want to. And this might even be a part of Samsung's marketing plan because the Note 20 event, S20,
Yes.
whatever, or Note 20 event is going to be canceled. Look at this, 10 people who have seeded this whole thing that's going to be like a Twitter storm that, like, I don't think anybody on this list went to Unpacked. So it's, like I said, they don't even have to have the freaking events. They don't even have to have the events. They can get their PR and their marketing stuff out in so many ways, and they can take advantage of so many people.
Like Tech Rant said in the chat, we are all part of the company marketing. All of us in the chat have been a part of a marketing scheme by a company before. This is nothing new.
Well, and the thing is, like, I mean, I know that I am because sometimes I get paid by companies to talk about their products, right? But I don't review products for money.
Right.
You know, I will give you first impressions of a product. I will walk you through a product. I'll do, just about anything, but put my reputation on the line, saying anything about that product being influenced by the company. So this kind of stuff just makes me really, really angry.
Makes me feel
Yeah, and like I said, there are micro influencers out there who are really proud of themselves for being a part of this whole thing.
Okay, so let's back up real quick. So let's talk about this particular promotion that they just ran with the leaderboard thing. Why does that make you angry, Jason? I'm curious.
Because it's like the Hunger Games, right? Next event, next release that Samsung has, it's going to be even worse. So many people are going to be tweeting. It's going to be a tweet storm. It's going to be a tweet tsunami. Just because people want to get a free phone. The only time it could be real and pure is this time, because you guys didn't know about it. Right? And from now on, everybody's going to be playing the angle. Everybody's going to be playing the angle.
Okay.
So that's the thing that bothers me the most. And there are things about demographics that bother me. There are things about all kinds of stuff that companies do in order to position their products in certain demographics and markets and all this other stuff. So I've been doing this now for long enough. This is like my 4th full phone season, and I'm over it.
All right. Real quick, Zach, you said it made you feel icky. I think you're about to say.
I'm just going to kind of echo what Jason said. I mean, this is the only time this will be free and true and pure, because as we get close to Note 20, assuming that's the name, that'll probably be the name. You're going to see a plethora of hashtag Note 20, and that's, I mean, if it's coming from a source of goodwill, then fine. I mean, for myself personally, I'm looking forward to more than the Note 20, because I kind of look at the S20 lineup as almost like a beta test for what Samsung's going to throw everything into in October. So, and also I like the bigger phone, everything like that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the S20 or anything like that, because I've had the S10, I've had the S9, etc. But yeah, we're going to see. And so one side of my brain says, this was brilliant. Like, you didn't even know you were part of this, right? But then it sets it up for, like Jason said, 3 or 4 months from now. And then for all we know, other companies might take advantage of stuff like this. Google and, et cetera, right? Who knows, right? So that's why but it's brilliant on one side, but the other side, I'm going, ugh, right? Yeah. So next time I see all these tweets from people, I'm going to go, are they really excited, or they just want a free phone?
Yeah. It cheapens something that.
Yeah, that's the word, cheapens.
Not been cheapened. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, like, the fact that you guys won the phones is fine. It's part of the deal, and you didn't.
Yeah, I'm happy for you, Viper, man. I'm glad you're getting one.
But what Samsung is banking on by giving away these 10 phones to the people who tweeted the most is that they're going to get some super long tail marketing out of these 10 people. And you might not think that it matters at all, right? 10 people are going to tweet about the phone. Well, if these are the people who tweeted the most, then it's something.
I wanted to I was going to dig deeper into the names and just see, are these all US based Twitter accounts and like what the follower accounts are and everything like that. Just I wanted to see if there's any
Samsung
correlation.
should have did this last year before I niched down to Apple content, and this will do nothing for them. I have no plans on making dedicated videos about these phones. Obviously, I'll make comparison videos, but as far as making dedicated videos, it's not happening. So this couldn't be worth timing for Samsung. Like, y'all late.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, it's like I said, it's brilliant on one side, but then I know what's going to happen this October, and just like Jason said, you know, it
Oh yeah,
it should be interesting. Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why I want to get out of the review game. You know, because basically I feel like I'm the guy who's always complaining about stuff. And people tell me, you're always complaining about this, that, or the other thing. The thing is, there's stuff to complain about. I'm not here to be your biased confirmation that you made the right choice spending a stupid amount of money on a phone. I'm not here for that. That's not my job. My job is to talk about the device and give you my honest opinion. If you don't like it, take this job and shove it. Right?
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's just become so compromised at this point. It used to be that Apple was a level playing field. I talked about this before. With the iPhone, Apple was a level playing field because nobody got the phone. Then 2 years ago, like 10 people got the phone. Then this past year, like a ton of people got the phone.
Yeah.
So the reason that, I owe a lot to the fact that I was able to get Apple iPhone content up quickly on launch days and draft off some of the bigger YouTubers who were getting early views, but they just got the phone that day. So it was a level playing field, and now it's not. And now like they're playing this game as much more in the marketing.
I think that comes back to there's a responsibility from consumers as well, or people that are watching these reviews. And I've always said this: don't just watch my reviews or Viper's or Jason's. Watch Marquez's, watch Mr. Mobile, watch Viper, watch Jason. Go and watch Travis. Go and watch the guy that has 100 subs and went out and got it, with his final paycheck, and do you know what I mean? Like get a full spectrum before you make that kind of.
What Zach is saying right now is so important. When you are doing research for a product, you need to watch multiple videos. I watch probably 5 or 6 before I make a decision, but at least watch 3 different videos from 3 different people about whatever product it is that you're interested in, because then you get a wide range of opinions about that product. So if somebody wants to sugarcoat something, chances are from somebody else you'll get the real raw details that one person didn't give you. So definitely, if you're thinking about buying a product and you want to come on YouTube and watch reviews, at least watch 3 videos from 3 different people. At least diversify your options.
I mean, if you're a Samsung fan, you want to get the S20 Ultra, then obviously there's no need for that. But for the people that maybe like they'll go to I'll go to YouTube. I'll go to YouTube right now and I'll type in here, let's do this. Let's do this real. Actually, I should bring up my screen and show you guys. It doesn't matter. This is a podcast. So I'll type in here Samsung S20 Ultra.
I just want to reply to Alan Mobley.
Yeah, I'll about to probably him too. Go ahead.
Rene Ritchie, I understand that Rene makes his money off covering Apple, but Rene is a straight up journalist.
Yes, he is.
He's been covering Apple for probably longer than you've been alive. And he is a repository of information about that company that we should appreciate. He doesn't tell you to buy something. He doesn't try and indoctrinate you into the Apple religion.
Not at all.
He just covers the stuff. That's what journalism does.
Yep.
It covers the stuff. He might have a bias toward it because he likes it.
Yeah.
But he's still giving you the straight dope.
And he's been critical. It's just the way that he's critical about it, which is journalistic integrity, right? I mean, if you guys think that Mr. Mobile's never critical, he's critical. He's just very good about how he words things, which is fair and balanced.
He's one of the most negative, positive reviewers out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I like it for that. I like him for that reason.
I mean, Renee just made a video about how Apple could fix the HomePod. So if that doesn't tell you what you need to know, I don't know what will.
So,
Well,
Jason, if you want to bring up my screen here.
What'd you say, Jason?
That's
Sorry.
a losing battle.
So I just did. So let's say, like, obviously this is not a incognito or anything. This is based on my, but anyway. So if you do a search for a Samsung S20 Ultra review, I mean, the top of the list here is Your Average Consumer, then Marquez, then Android Authority, The Verge, which we know The Verge got the units even before other influencers. I think a few days before. Danny Wignett, Droid Life, Mr. Mobile, and then Wall Street Journal. Wow. Wall Street Journal. CNET, Don Esposito, ASBYT.
Yeah, I met him at
ASBYT.
the Note 10 event.
I think I've seen some of this stuff. Moment, which is really weird because they're the ones that do the lenses.
Right.
That's wild that they're making lenses. And then you got Technical Guru, Super Saf. But I mean, I would say, if you got the same sort of results yourself, go to the next page,
Yeah, scroll down to the next page. And see, this is the thing. Like here,
GSM Arena.
All these reviews. Look at all these reviews with all of these views on them. And this is before the phone is even out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's just one of those things where this is now a big part of Samsung and other companies' marketing plan. Get it into the hands of people who will say nice things.
I'm surprised how far down Flossie is. But again, this is, he may have been near the top 3 or 4 days ago, right? So
yeah, and he's also just doing an unboxing of first impressions because he just got the phone and he's being an honest reviewer by not giving a review without having really tested the phone.
Yeah.
So
now these videos, for example, may have the word, they may have the word review in their tags. I'm just gonna go ahead and pause this. I never finished watching that. Interesting. So let's take a look at Flossie's tags. And I'm not picking on Floss. I'm just kind of giving an example here. But if I do a search, okay, so he did put the word review in there in order to get that ranking. Okay.
Yep.
But he didn't put it in the title.
Right.
Yeah, and I think most people who cover these kinds of things, you seed in other stuff that will be related. It's called related search.
So we can go into a whole nother debate. I'm not trying to get into it too heavy though about how long you should wait before you actually publish a review on a product. I think a week is way too short of a time period to be posting a full review on a smartphone, but that's just me. I guess I'm not going to go too deep into it, but that's just how I feel.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I think you can do after 24 hours or an after 72 hours and give people like your initial reactions and they're not totally informed, but at least you're giving them some information based on experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then my plan is always to do at least, like a first impressions after 72 hours or after 1 week, and then after a month, after 3 months in, if I end up keeping the phone, that kind of thing. So there are ways to and it would be good for a lot of creators to work this way because you want to get as much content out of that device as you can.
Right. But the question I'm presenting, Jason, is how long should you have a device before you put out a full review about it or on it?
Well, I think that if you say, I've had this phone for 1 week and these are my impressions and my review of this phone after 1 week of me using it as my daily phone, then you're okay, right? If you say, I waited 30 days and used this phone, then people are going to expect a different kind of review. But I don't think anybody's going to fault anyone for saying like, okay, because we all know that if you're a YouTuber and you're covering these things, you want to get your video into the mix, right? So you find a way to get there. But as long as you have your credentials are firm, and as long as you're telling your viewers the truth and you're acting in good faith, then I don't have any problem with it. Where the problem comes in is when people feel like, oh, they were so nice to me, sending me this phone, I should like say nice things. And I'm living proof that if you don't say nice things, you don't get invited back.
I've literally had companies send me, or not send me, but send me like proposals. Can we send you this for a review? And then they've also included there in some sort of lines along the lines of please leave out any negative thoughts or opinions, to which I've replied no. And then no reply back, right? Like, that's not how a review works, bro.
At the end of the email, get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, if you want this to be a showcase, sure, I'll keep my opinion out of it. But
yeah, for me, like I've had a situation where I did a sort of impressions video on a product, and I'd worked with the product with that company before, and reached back out to them to work with them after that, and this, I appreciated this, like they said, a lot of that felt more negative than positive in that last video. So if you have a problem with the product, just let us know. And that's something that I can deal with. I'm not out to like destroy people. If the product isn't ready to go, I'll say so. But this is a small company. This is a small company that's sort of doing their own thing, and it's a small business. So you don't have the same expectations as you do with a mammoth company, its own city state, its own nation state, Samsung.
Mm-hmm. This reminds me of a conversation I was having with GameKey, and how he blasted the both NT700s because the app was terrible when they first released those headphones. I'm like, yeah,
it was.
Look what happened with Travis, and was it the Dolby?
Yep, Dolby. Yep, mm-hmm.
Dolby. So he put out that review, and he tried not to be critical, but there was just so many things glaring overview, given the price of those. That was the biggest thing. People are like, why are these so much? And it's the name, really. Let's just call it what it is. Sure. And he got a not too nice email basically saying the same thing. Like, if there was problems, you should have told us before you sent out this review. And he's like, wait a minute, what? Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't have had that conversation with the company that I've worked with before if I hadn't worked with them before.
Mm-hmm.
So that in and of itself is sort of a bias in its own way. I've worked with these people, so we have a relationship. It's not like we're going out and having drinks after work or anything. I mean, I don't do that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not buddies, but we have a respectful working relationship back and forth, and that does sort of skew things one way or another. And the key for the reviewer is to recognize when those biases might come up and correct them.
I don't think it's an issue. I don't think it's a big deal if a company sends you out a product and the product is obviously defective, and you communicate that to the company, and then you have to ship it back, or they send you another one, whatever the case may be. I think that's perfectly fine. If you have a genuinely defective product, then no, don't review a genuinely defective product. Get another one, or do whatever you got to do to get a better unit in there to review. But
let me paint a current situation I'm going through right now with a company, and I actually recorded the video today, and I'm probably going to drop it once I'm done editing it. Might be later this week. Behind me, for the people not listening, what I have on my walls and what Jason has on his walls are a product called the brand is called AeroZoom.
Yep.
Okay, and they make these foam, I guess, squares that it's soundproofing to help just stop bouncing off walls and this and that. So this is what happened. I have to reach for this for the people that are watching here can understand what I'm talking about. So back in November, AeroZoom reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to do a review of our product and pick out what you want on Amazon and then we'll send it out to you. I said, okay, no problem. So I picked out some of these. These are for the corners. These are base traps. Okay, so they're small like this, but they come. You have to put water in them, and then they expand out and everything. So I got enough of these to put all along, and everything like that. And right now, like given the microphone system that I use and everything, my sound is actually pretty good as it is. But I mean, more is always better. So I bought these. Okay, and I told them I would include their product in a tour of my studio, of my space. Okay. A month ago, just after I got back from CES, I noticed that the gray tiles, I don't know if you guys can see this on camera.
Yeah.
You see how they look kind of yellow?
Yeah.
Do you see the yellow tinge on them? I should bring the lights up in here. But anyway, they're yellow. And I'm like, what the heck is this? So I emailed them and I'm like, again, this is back in January. I'm like, hey guys, I know I'm supposed to be doing this right here, but I have these on my wall up above and on the wall that I'm facing here. Can I get these replaced? Is this normal? Their response to me, AeroZoom, was, that's normal. You should have known that before you bought them. We put that disclaimer in there. So I went back to Amazon. There's no disclaimer on there. There's complaints from people.
Yeah.
So I went back to them and I said, I can't review your product in good faith and give you guys a good review and say good things about you guys without pointing this out. If someone buys the gray ones, I have blue ones that look even more disgusting. I don't know what the issue is. It might be a heat thing. I don't smoke in here. I don't smoke at all. And so these gray ones look like this. Now the black ones obviously look black.
Yeah.
So now
those base traps are made of a slightly less dense foam as well.
So yeah, and my black tiles like behind me here, they're all perfectly fine. So, and I don't have any weird lights in here, just normal Philips lights. So we've been going back and forth, and finally I was done with them this week. I said, listen, I need you guys to replace this, otherwise I'm just going to point it out and not recommend your product. And they didn't reply to me.
Yeah.
So what a piss off.
I had an interesting interaction with them as well, because yes, they did send me panels that I still use to this day, and I've talked about them in live streams. I've talked about them in studio tours. I've talked about them in a lot of places. But AeroZoom had it in their mind that I was going to make a dedicated video about their tiles, just because they sent them to me for free.
Yeah, that's what they said to me too. And
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, I might have agreed to that at one point in my career, but then, when it came down to it, 6 months later, I was in a totally different place. So I've done what I feel like is the right thing to do by pointing them out and naming the company. I've gotten hundreds of thousands of views where people are looking at these tiles. And so they reached out to me again, and I imagine it was like somebody else. So they got another list, that somebody sold them, and they reached out to me again, and they were like, hey, Jason, do you want to check out some of our tiles? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to check out whatever new stuff you've got going on. I'd be into it. And then they got back to me and they're like, oh, I see here that you still owe us $90 for the tiles that we sent you. I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
Really? You're invoicing me? I mean, maybe I'm in the wrong, but that seemed like totally ridiculous to me.
Mm-hmm.
So
like I guess what I was hoping out of my situation was I was going to point out that this happened, but hey, I contacted AeroZoom's customer service and they took care of me.
Right.
And they haven't. So I'm going to make sure I point that out. Like, I bought these back in November. It's March now? So December, January, February.
4 months.
So we'll say three and a half, 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. No,
I mean, they still work, but it looks disgusting.
And the thing is, like, I have those very same panels.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened with mine. So,
but yours are all black.
No. I've got ones that color too.
Gray?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's not been any issue with them like losing their color or something. Maybe it's a bad batch, maybe it's who knows. But
I don't know.
So the takeaway here, you all, is be leery of AeroZoom.
Well, I mean, just be leery in general.
Yeah. All right, Jason, where do you want to take the podcast next? I think we talked about product reviews and things like that enough.
Well, we've kind of talked about the S20, but I just want to know from you guys sort of what your excitement level on a scale of 1 to 10. How excited are you for the S20 to come to you?
I am very excited. Like I said, even though I knew Samsung was sending me a prize S20, I still pre-ordered one myself. So I got my pre-order coming up, I guess, on Thursday. I'm pretty excited, man. Even though these early camera reviews are kind of scaring me because that's the main selling point of the phone. And if the autofocus isn't working properly, that kind of makes me a little leery. But I know Samsung could probably fix it with a patch down the road, so I'm not too worried about it. But it's just disappointing that they are bringing the phone out like that. Because in my mind, the camera is the biggest single selling point of the S20 Ultra. When you open the camera app and take a picture, if you're having auto zoom or autofocus issues, those are readily apparent. It's hard to miss. I mean, if you're talking about the biggest selling point of the phone being the autofocus, I mean, you open the camera app and the damn thing is hunting or won't focus. How do you not fix that in R&D? I don't understand it. Like, I mean, I know something can't really be tested and discovered until you get to the real world. But we're talking about taking a damn picture with the phone. Did you not notice that the autofocus was terrible? Come on, Samsung. Come on, bro. Yeah, other than that, I'm excited.
I hear you. Zach, what about you?
Okay, so for myself personally, I'm more or less looking forward to the Note. But whether I'll upgrade or not is still to be determined. Yeah, but like Viper said, the biggest thing with the Ultra and the 20 Plus was, camera, right? And based on images that I've seen in the reviews that I've seen or this and that, I'm just like, okay, I can't visually tell a difference. I haven't heard enough about software refinements or this or that. It's obviously got the same screens and this and that. It just I don't know. It just seems like another upgrade. I mean, if I was going from like an S8 or an S7 to this, then I might be excited. But
imagine the sticker shock coming from an S7, which costs like $700.
Yeah,
and the price is doubled.
Yeah.
But my thing about it is, like, I'm not excited for the phone at all. I mean, I'll get that new phone excitement because I get that with every phone.
Mm-hmm.
But we were talking earlier about lipstick and pigs.
Yeah.
And I just don't really think there's much to this, and I don't think the camera is everything everybody's saying. I feel like I live in bizarro world.
I'm gonna bet you guys. I'll put a bet down for this, that when some of the other sub 500 devices come out later on this year, so the next generation of OnePlus, TCL's named device here for North America, stuff like that, I'm betting if you were put those cameras side by side, some people will not be able to tell the difference.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
I mean, Marquez still puts the third place behind the iPhone and the Pixel as far as the S20 Ultra camera goes. I mean, good Lord. But before we go any further, though, I don't think this has ever happened as with me being on the podcast. So shout out to the 237 of you watching the podcast right now. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
How you guys doing? Thank you.
I've never had this many people here while I'm here. So what's up, y'all? What's up?
When did that happen? The last time I looked over, it said 77.
I'm looking at 237 right now. Maybe we got botted. I don't know.
I see 241.
I don't know. But the one thing I do want to say about the S20 Ultra camera is that I feel like I'm in bizarro world, where all of these creators are putting their pictures on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, and they're saying which one looks better. And you can I can clearly see which one is the S20, right? And I'm just like, that looks like garbage.
Well, I mean, Twitter compression. You have to take that into effect.
But I mean, I'm looking at that compared to iPhone, compared to whatever other phone they're using. And the thing is, people talk about dynamic range, whatever the hell that is. And I mean, this is like one of those YouTube tropes, right? Like a YouTuber can't do a camera discussion without talking about dynamic range. Yes, dynamic range is a real thing, but it doesn't matter for shit in a cell phone. Okay. So I keep seeing these things and I'm like, I really think the iPhone looks better. The iPhone pictures are brighter. Sometimes there looks to be more detail. I saw Danny Winget did one where he had the S20 Ultra and another Samsung phone. I can't remember which one it was. and supposedly the S20 Ultra has like really improved the stabilization and stuff. And I was just what I saw was the other older phone was more crisp with more detail, and the stability was any difference from the stability was completely you couldn't tell that the stability was any different whatsoever. So and I commented that on his Twitter, and people were like, "You're blind, man." Like people want to believe that Samsung is putting out a great phone and they're going to go out and buy it and it's going to be the greatest thing ever.
Come on, Jason. You know we know what's happening, Jason. You already know the Samsung night. This isn't their time, Jason. This isn't their time. They're not playing with you, Jason. They're not playing with you.
Hey, I mean, they can come. They can come. The thing is, like, I'm not gonna look a pig in the mouth and call it a beauty queen.
Oh man.
You know,
Woo!
Is it gonna be a really good phone? Yeah. Is it the second coming of Christ? So all of this, like, that's what, again, I get back to this, like, hype machine. Tech reviews have become hype machine things. Tech reviews are just like people getting in early so that they can get the views, so that the company can get the coverage. And a lot of people aren't smart enough to really to really review something with any, like Mr. Mobile's super smart, and he can get down into the details and he can really explain what's good and what's bad about a phone. Some people aren't that good, right? And so the net result is that Samsung gets a ton of free publicity, or it costs them a phone, which probably costs them like $200 to make, right? So it's very, very frustrating. I don't know if, like I said before, I don't know if I'm going to get the phone. On one hand, like, Samsung videos have done well for me. Last year, the S10 did well for me. So do I not get those views because I'm, principles, or I'm personally not interested in the phone, or do I get the phone and tell people my honest opinion and then return it to the store?
Can you trust pre-release units?
Well, I mean, it seems like you already answered your own question. We've been talking all night about how reviewers aren't giving you the full detail when it comes to review units. So, Jason, I mean, the channel is called Painfully Honest Tech. So it would seem to me that you need to go out and get one and give them the real cold hard facts about this phone.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you're right. I mean, I was tempted to do something like get the regular S20 or the S20 Plus, which I think is the best value for your money in this lineup of phones. Because who's going to cover the S20 Plus? Everybody's covering the S20 Ultra. Everybody's got a big old Woody for the S20 Ultra.
Yeah, I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Tech reviewers were talking about how the S20 Ultra is the phone to get because that's the one that's going to get the most views. And I'm like, okay, maybe in the short term, but in the long term, most of the people are going to buy the regular S20. So in the long term, I think the regular S20 video will probably get the most views when it's all said and done, because more people are going to go out and buy the S20 over the S20 Ultra because of the price.
If you want to draw a parallel, iPhone XR videos did better than iPhone X S videos. Or
exactly. Yep.
Well, and that's true. That's completely true. And I mean, honestly, ever since I started doing the Amazon streams, I've been looking at all these other phones that are out there, whether they're brand new in the box but 2 years old, or they've been renewed or refreshed or whatever you want to call a used phone, right? That might be where the views are this year. Is what do you buy instead of the ridiculously priced $1,400, $1,500 phone?
Boom, there you go.
Tell you, once people start seeing what TCL's doing, because I've taken the photos with the device, I've seen what it's done with the selfie camera.
Yeah,
like the selfie pictures I took of myself there at TCL, at their booth there at CES, I felt they were near, if not the same, as pixel quality, and I'm not exaggerating. I was really impressed with the bokeh effect and the software, the tweaks that they put in there. It was a really clean,
Yeah.
really well put together device, and to be sub 500.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and last night, Travis and I did 2 streams over the weekend and
Mhm.
one last night. I can't remember which stream it was, but we were talking about I was talking about buying an iPhone 6S Plus and doing a iPhone 6S Plus in 2020 review. Now, why am I interested in the iPhone 6S Plus?
That's a good question. Why are you?
Because most people have that.
Because it has a headphone jack.
Oh,
Here we go, folks. The headphone jack rant begins.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had an issue just tonight. I was going to go out for a walk. Time was getting short. I had to get a shower in before the podcast, and I just wanted to grab a pair of headphones and go. But I ended up fiddling with the gosh darn wireless headphones for like 10 minutes.
The TCL devices have headphone jacks.
I know.
Exciting.
I mean, again, their headphone jacks might be similar to the Pixel 3 and 3A and 3A XL in that they're not very good headphone jacks, but at least they're there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me, like I would just love to. I got a set of headphones from iMore, or not iMore. One More.
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
yeah, that's right.
One more.
Yep.
I got a set of headphones from them. They were sitting right there on the desk. I picked up the phone. I was like, well, shut up. And I had fool with the wireless headphones because where's my dongle? I don't know where my dongle is. I probably have dongles around somewhere.
Hey, Jason.
Yes.
Somebody in the chat, Luke M Tech, asking pretty interesting question. Are you, Jason, going to purchase a LG V60?
Most likely, yes. Because I really like those phones, and I love what LG is doing with the way that they're positioning themselves price-wise and features-wise. I mean, we've had the argument back and forth whether or not the G8X or the V60 is a folding phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've had that argument, but at the end of the day, it's a phone that has 2 screens available, and it comes in at a price point that's 100% less than the most cheap foldable, right?
Yep.
So I'm like, if over here we got a folding phone that has 2 screens, which, I mean, there are benefits to having 2 screens and not just one that folds out, right? It's got 2 screens, costs $700. The cheapest foldable phone is $1,400, right? So you're saving 100% of your money. Well, that's not really the right way to say it, but you know what I mean? It's like the full cost. You could buy 2 G8Xs for the price of 1 G Flip.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I mean, it's definitely an interesting value proposition for what LG bringing to the table with that device. Although I happen to agree with my man 504, LG will probably do a lot better if they actually put in the effort to market the damn thing here in the US. I mean, just saying.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't understand why LG has. I've never understood their marketing strategy in North America. And I have a feeling it's just like it's a sort of cut your losses kind of thing. Like, well, we're not penetrating that market enough to justify a big ad deal.
Well, I think you were the one who told me that they're still number 4 here in the US, right?
They are, but they're number 4 overall worldwide.
Maybe they're just trying to do a slow transition to like supporting that tier 2, tier 3 market. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing. Like Marquez comes out and he calls the V60 a second tier phone because it doesn't have a 120 hertz screen. What kind of bullshit is that? I mean, that's ridiculous. 120 hertz screen is not a requirement for a top tier phone. I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous. I still don't believe that 120 hertz. I've seen it. 120 hertz looks no different than 60 hertz on a 6-inch screen.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a little bit smoother. People talk about, oh, it's so responsive. It's like bullshit. It's not more responsive.
Me and Marquez have definitely had our disagreements about the whole refresh rate thing or whatever. And the funny thing is, on these new S20 devices, you have to pick and choose how you want to display it and the refresh rate to work. If you want to use 120 hertz on the Galaxy S20, then you can only operate it at a 1080p resolution.
Right.
If you want the full Quad HD experience, then you can't have 120 hertz refresh rate with that Quad HD experience. So that kind of makes me scratch my head, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, for myself personally, I would set it to quad and call it a day because I've never scrolled through and went, oh man, I wish this was smoother. I've never once thought that.
Buttery smooth. 60 hertz used to be buttery smooth. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember those days with 60 hertz? Now 60 hertz is like your grandmother's ass. Right? But it used to be, oh man, this buttery smooth.
Oh my goodness. I mean, he's in rare form tonight, Zach. He's in rare form.
But how many times did you hear Marquez and every other YouTuber use the phrase buttery smooth? And it always made me want to puke.
Feels
And
good in
now
hands.
it just feels hypocritical.
Feels good in hands.
It feels good in the hand.
Dope. It's dope.
Yeah. So to
Dope.
me, that's just that is a ridiculous feature. It's like they're trying to sell this phone on 120 hertz screen and 100 times zoom, which looks like shit. And that's about it. Oh, and it can shoot 8K video. Who the fuck cares?
Most people don't even have 4K. People don't even have 4K televisions.
The shots being fired in the podcast tonight, I'll tell you. Woo!
What was that, Zach?
I mean, okay, so if you can shoot 4K, great. Why?
Why is exactly the question. So you can take up twice the amount of storage on your phone with
I mean, like, if you want to get the detail, I guess that's okay. I mean,
but what detail are you getting on a freaking smartphone? It's not like a mini red camera in your phone. You know, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna make a film with this pinhole camera because that's like the way they did it in the old days, and it'll be really cool. I don't. It
there's a.
doesn't.
I was just gonna say there's a direct correlation between Jason going off right now and the amount of people that the stream is increasing with. At one point, it's at 301.
Right.
And Jason was going off.
Well, I guess this is what brings in the people. I don't know.
Jason's full on Hulk mode, and it's just like, you want to see me when I'm angry.
If the people are here for it, they're here for all of it.
Anyway, here's a little for everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll give this to the people. Come on, do it.
Do you have it?
Oh wait.
There you go.
Uh,
So, interestingly enough, we're talking about phones and all this tech and things like that tonight, but there are other things, I would just say, going on in the world that will have a large and already are having a large impact on the tech world as a whole. For those of y'all that are not aware in the chat right now, there have been a lot of tech events that have been canceled. Mobile World Congress got canceled. Facebook canceled their FA Developer Conference. The Game Developer Conference has been officially canceled. And today, Google just announced that they are canceling Google I.O.
Really?
So now everybody's looking at Apple like, whoa, Apple, are you going to cancel WWDC? So
Here's the thing with Apple, and we've seen them be successful with this before. They can set out a blog release.
This is my
And
favorite.
they'll get the coverage because it's Apple, right?
Jason. Apple can like drop products during a website refresh and be done, but WWDC is kind of a unique experience in the way that it brings like developers and people together to talk about their ideas and things like that. So it will kind of suck that if they have to cancel it, but I mean at this point I don't know if they have a choice.
So I guess sorry, go ahead, Jason.
I don't know either. I mean, I kind of feel the same way that, like, you know, a lot of these events are dog and pony shows made to kind of gin up some interest from people when there's nothing to be interested in. Like the phone's not out, the product's not out, you know, so you don't have to have these events to launch products. Now, Mobile World Congress, as you say, is a different thing. It has different stuff going on, as well as you know, the show floor and all that kind of thing. But you don't have to have an event. I mean, it's like they try and make these phone events like WWE intros. It's like I'm waiting for somebody to like run down the aisle of the freaking theater with girls and, you know, sparklers going off all over the place with the phone. It's ridiculous. And
Where's
also
the John Cena intro music? I need to. Right?
it's one of those things where it's like, okay, we've kind of normalized this behavior, but when in the world did anyone ever say, you know what, let's have a mobile phone launch party, or not even a launch party, but a reveal party, and we'll do it at a 3,000 seat theater?
Listen, man, I didn't warn you, Jason. Stop messing with my events. I love these events. Don't mess with my events, Jason.
Apple started it. Let's be
Probably.
totally clear. Apple started it. And
Probably.
the problem was Steve Jobs was really good at it, and nobody else is.
No, Steve Jobs is the ultimate salesman, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was so good at those presentations. And like, I used to study the way that he totally changed the way presentations were done. I used to study when I taught public speaking and stuff like that. I would study the way that Steve Jobs presented to explain it to my students, what he was doing, why he was doing it, and what impact it was going to have. Because it used to be like, it used to be that you get a PowerPoint and it might have some clip art and and then just long sentences and bullet points, right? And Steve Jobs turned it all around, where he used the context of the images to back up his words, and everything was really well thought out. These Samsung events that I've been to have been painful. They're cringy, they're too long, and they don't get me as excited as they want to get me excited.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because I kind of agree with you that Samsung events have been kind of in the past, but I think especially with this past S20 event, I enjoyed it. I kind of liked it, even though they didn't have my man DJ Cole, because they shipped them to a different part of the company.
That guy has the personality of a potato.
I don't care.
And I love potatoes.
I love DJ. I don't care. He was the man. Bring him back. But I think Samsung got a lot better with their event. But Jason, I do largely agree with you about how, after Steve Jobs, there's no duplicating what he's done for presenting tech in the way that he did. So
I mean, Steve Jobs took tech and made it into something like fashion, right? Like people want to see the fashion show. They want to see the models walk down there with the clothes on. Steve Jobs took a page from that book and said, this is a show. Our goal is to make beautiful products, and I'm going to show them off in a beautiful way. And this is going to be actually a part of.
He made it relatable. He made it relatable from everybody from the tech nerd like us to people that just want to be able to type up a Word document, or maybe they're graduating from a typewriter to a what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So they made sense for people. And what was the line he used to say? Just make it simple, or make it whatever it was, right?
Simple, stupid.
Yeah. Basically, that he was using the KISS method, right? So if you can relate to a range like that, that's powerful, right? I mean, everything from the sneakers to the socks to the jeans to the black sweater,
the turtleneck.
It's all carefully orchestrated. And to this day, anybody that's up on stage presenting at Apple, it's all very casual.
Yeah.
This and that, right? And then, right? So it's all very carefully crafted so that, okay, this is comfortable. I can understand this.
Right.
It's all marketing, right?
Speaking of Apple products, we got this announcement today, or this came out, and I've seen it on a couple of different news sources. So I don't feel bad about showing you Boy Genius Report, BGR, because and once again, it's not our friend Zach Epstein.
They're
Yanni.
This is actually credible news, so that's why it's not Zach.
Yeah. So it looks like what we're gonna get from from Apple. I'm tired of saying Samsung. It looks like we're getting an iPhone 9, iPad Pro, new headphones, and more. It's just going down this line. iPhone 9 we all knew about.
Yep.
And it sounds like it's probably going to be largely the same thing that we thought. It's going to be what we thought it was.
Yeah, it's gonna be the iPhone 8 form factor with Touch ID,
right?
With the H13 Bionic chip. Yep.
So we're gonna get a MacBook Pro. It looks like we're getting the 14.1-inch MacBook
Yep.
Pro.
Ming Chi
And
Ko.
Ming Chi Ko says that we're getting that. And if you don't know who Ming Chi Ko is, he is he's sort of like the Moses of Apple.
He is the world's most accurate Apple insider.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
God
It works.
speaks
It works
directly
in some
to-
capacity.
Sometimes.
God speaks directly to, and by God I mean Apple, speaks directly to Ming Chi Kuo.
He
And-
said, God, directly to Ming Chi Ko.
So he's the Moses of Apple leaks,
Mm.
and when he says stuff, it usually happens.
Usually,
So-
yeah.
MacBook Pro 14.1 inch, and it's going to have mini LED, correct?
Yeah. Correct.
And then we've got iPad Pro,
Which I talked about last night in my video. Yep.
time of flight camera,
Mhm.
which will be interesting. I think people just need to accept the fact that people are going to take pictures with the iPad.
I've told you all, tablet photography is on the rise, and Apple knows that. That's why they're including these better cameras than iPad.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to have a huge viewfinder like that? Why wouldn't you?
I just hate it when you're seeing it at like events like concerts and things like that, where people are packed in, you trying to look at something, but the damn tablet is blocking your view. I hate that. Ugh.
What kind of 2-bit security is
think
letting
about it
people
this
go
way.
into a concert with an iPad? I mean, they pat you down before you go in these things.
Think about it this way, though. Now that we got Corona beer virus, nobody's going to those things anyway.
No,
So-
not so much. Yeah.
No, I mean,
The other tidbit about the iPad Pro is that it's been rumored that Apple might have they might make a new smart keyboard case with a built-in trackpad. So be on the lookout for that.
oh yeah. Well,
Hmm.
newsflash, I saw a keyboard case with a trackpad at CES made by
Bridge, yeah.
and it was really nice.
It is.
And actually, they make little. It looks like a little. It actually looks a lot like the Magic Mouse, but it's Bluetooth and it's a trackpad that you can use with the iPad.
So I have the regular Bridge keyboard here, and I can tell you guys that these keyboards are definitely legit. So the fact that they're making one with a built-in trackpad, look out, Apple, look out.
Yeah, no, it's really great. And then, I think that we're within 2 years of the MacBook Air going away, and the iPad Pros becoming.
It needs to go away.
Well, the MacBook Air is only a good computer because it's relatively cheaper than the alternatives from Apple. You know, so
Mhm.
and it's not even that much cheaper. You can get a MacBook Pro 13-inch for usually like a couple $100 more. It's a great working computer for people who, you know, they're carrying it around, they're traveling, you know, they need to do spreadsheets and emails and stuff like that. And you can do some creativity stuff on it.
Yep. Hey, Jason,
Yes.
we need to take a break in the podcast to read this very important message from El Jefe Reviews.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So El Jefe wants to remind all of you all out there watching and listening to the podcast right now, for those of y'all listening on audio only, El Jefe Review, my head of security, is telling you, and you need to listen, wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hand, people! Wash your hand!
20
Okay, we're
seconds.
done.
For 20 seconds.
20 seconds, yes, for 20 seconds.
Yeah. I mean,
I heard-
Clean with
I heard-
soap, baby, with soap.
You're supposed to sing like "Happy Birthday" or the ABCs like twice. That's the time.
I don't know. I thought that was brushing teeth. I don't know. I mean, but at the very least, wash your hands. You know, sometimes you get itchy. Wash your hands.
Don't touch
Okay.
your face, which is surprising. If you actually keep track throughout the day how many times you touch your face,
That's
Crazy.
a hard one for me. That's a hard one for me, man. I always touch my face.
I learned how to not to touch my face when I used to have really bad acne in junior high because I was told that's what was causing it, and it was. So
Whoa, I know these guys.
Let me pull. Oh,
who are those scary guys?
I hit the wrong thing. Okay. This is a public service announcement for everybody. Okay. So this is a product that I had sent to me a long time ago, and I never got around to doing the review. However, it's much more important now than it was then. Here we have the phone soap,
Hmm.
and they have a bunch of different models of phone soap. I think if we click through here, we'll be able to see them all. You've got this sort of phone-sized phone soap. And then there's also, they got phone soap wireless, phone soap go, and then I guess this isn't a current product, but they have something coming out that is going to replace it. The phone soap XL. This is where you can put your tablets in, all that kind of stuff. Now, phone soap reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, do you want to do a review of this product? Here's the information on it. Here's a couple of videos that you can watch." Kills 99.99% of staph, E. coli, salmonella, and other harmful bacteria and viruses. It's just ultraviolet light. In the cheaper one, it takes 10 minutes. You put your phone in there. And honestly, I watched a video, and this is why I said I would review it, even though I ended up not reviewing it. They had this video where they went to a science lab and they had an independent science guy take one phone and like rub it around on a toilet and all kinds of other stuff. And he did it with both phones. Everything was done with both phones. One phone was not cleaned. The other phone was cleaned in the phone soap. And
Good.
Yeah. Your phone has 18% more bacteria on it than anything else you touch.
Than your toilet, people.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. I mean, you get weirded out getting close to a toilet. Should you get that weirded out about your phone?
So
Anyway,
again,
phone
wash your hands.
soap, it's now a product with a reason to exist. Because look, it's not even in stock anymore. They don't have any more left. They have sold out of all of the phone soaps. March 15th.
Wow.
Yeah. So there are no more phone soaps to be had.
Jason, did you see the price of antibacterial soap and hand sanitizer on Amazon today?
No, I didn't.
I totally jacked it.
They are jacked, dude. They're in the $30 price range, $50, $60, $70. It's crazy out here, Jason.
Antibacterial soap.
I mentioned this before we started tonight. There was a lineup at my local Costco today.
You
Yeah.
did.
I've never seen a lineup at that Costco. It's normally like it's busy. It's a Costco. But yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing $14 and $15 for stuff. Doesn't look that bad.
Okay, type in like hand sanitizer or Perel or something. It ain't $14, $15 no more. It is up there.
Hand sanitizer. $114 for Dermarite. Jesus.
There it is.
Wow.
Look at this.
Woo!
$14.
That's not from Amazon. That's got to be a third party though.
It's for 12 package. It's a 12 pack bulk, but still $115. $42 for the Gojo. And we all know we got to have the Gojo. And
Never
then
even heard of Gojo.
Purell, they don't even have it in stock. So yeah. And look right here, it's phone soap. Phone soap is this isn't not $119. Crazy.
I wonder what phone soap's pricing was before this whole thing happened.
I think it stayed the same. Like when we were just looking at it, the regular one was $80, and I think that's what it was. But they're sold out. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But the thing I want to just sort of, I want to be a voice of calmness and reason in this time of difficulty and strife. Yes, this is a bad thing, and it's going to impact the lives of many, many, many people. But it's not time to go absolutely batshit crazy. Be reasonable, take your precautions. If it makes you feel more comfortable, stay out of crowded areas. Don't go to the movies, whatever.
And make sure you're getting your information from, you know what I mean? Like, don't be reading every person that uses hashtag COVID-19 on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so much BS out there.
So John Oliver did a piece on coronavirus last week tonight, on Sunday, and he was showing some clips from morning shows on regular TV. People were like, if I gargle with bleach, will it kill the bacteria for the coronavirus? It's like, well, if you gargle with bleach, you're not really going to have much of a problem with the coronavirus. You're going to be dead.
Yeah.
But that was a real thing that somebody asked. Can I gargle with bleach? I don't. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, Jason, we're talking about we live amongst a group of people who feel like and think and actually believe, Jason, that they should stay away from Corona beer because of the coronavirus.
I know, and generally.
Okay. Wait. Before we go on, if you're watching or listening to the podcast, Corona beer is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with Corona beer. It has no connection to the coronavirus. So let's kill that nonsense, please. No connection. Please stop. I don't know who came up with this. It's ignorant.
It's interesting about that story. Philip DeFranco did a deep dive on it, and what it was is that this agency or company that does surveys and everything, they did this, but they just asked people, "Would you still do you buy Corona beer?" That was the question. Do you buy Corona beer? Then CNN took it and spun it.
Oh Lord. To
say that there was a connection. People are not buying it because of this. That's not what they said at all in their survey. That's not what it is. So that's what happened is it was a legitimate survey of just asking people, do you buy Corona beer? 38% of people said, yeah. Or no, I don't. They didn't say it because of this, that was never in there about the virus or anything. That was never in there. And then CNN took it and they spun it. Philip DeFranco addressed this on his show last night.
Wait, disinformation, Zach? No way. Disinformation. Why am I not
from
shocked?
CNN? Oh my God.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Woo! Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Yes, science.
Corona beer might actually have some medicinal properties if you pour it all over yourself.
I like a Corona. I just bought a 12-pack last week. Not because it was on sale. I just because I happened to by the liquor store there, and I bought a 12-pack bottle. I like Corona beer.
I happened to wake up by the liquor store.
I like Corona beer. I like a cold Corona on a hot day, and I mean it's not hot here right now, but I'm just
with a slice of lime.
No, actually, no. I actually prefer it without.
Yeah,
I prefer without.
I like it with a little bit of salt.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I mean, I haven't had a drink in 8 years.
I put some cake in there.
But yeah, to more serious matters though, like Jason said, yes, this is a problem, but it's not nothing to go crazy over. And if you're looking for like certain tech to buy later on this year, you might have a hard time finding it because this is impacting a lot of the manufacturers overseas that make your favorite tech product. So like the iPhone 12, I think the iPhone 12 is going to be extremely difficult to get come September because this has already impacted iPhone production. And those factories are opening up again, but they won't be able to get back to full bore for at least a few months. So it's going to be extremely difficult to get iPhones and other like products that are made and manufactured over in China and these other countries that are impacted by the beer flu. So it's going to be interesting come fall.
Just make sure you're properly informed and you're going to like if you really want the source of information, go to the World Health Organization's website.
There you go.
Or someplace
right?
Like
yeah.
Right.
Actual health professionals. Yeah.
Exactly. Wash your hands.
Yep.
Cough into your, into your elbow, things like that. Yeah, I don't want to say.
I mean, and in this time of need, think of your local tech YouTuber, because it's going to be hard times for us too. As our friend El Jefe says right here, he's already hit shortages of review samples on the audio side of tech, and I have too. Really was looking forward to some one more buds, but they ain't making them right now. So there's going to be repercussions, and this is the kind of thing that could actually play into like the U.S. presidential election as well. I mean, this could get bad, but I caution everybody just to stay calm.
And above all else, for whatever you believe, understand that 5G does not take your oxygen. I saw this video on Twitter about the lady explaining how 5G is taking the oxygen and it could have made people fall over dead before the coronavirus. And I'm just like, are you kidding me right now?
Geez.
Oh wow, yeah. Don't believe everything you see on the net. Don't believe it.
Rashid with the $2 super chat for the painfully honest bunker. Thank you. I've already started digging in the backyard.
Painfully honest bunker.
Yeah. Just buy all Samsung. What's that mean, man? I don't understand. So we have been talking for 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Has it been that long already?
Yeah, we got 359 souls in the painfully honest boat. And yeah, so we talked about the Apple, the stuff that they got coming out. We didn't mention the Power Beats, the new Power Beats that are going to be coming. I can't say that I'm really excited about the Power Beats. I'm not a big fan. But,
I haven't been a fan for a while.
new Apple TV though is possible. So it says here, some rumblings of a mild Apple TV refresh.
Yeah, I heard about that a few weeks ago. Yeah.
The Apple TV as it exists right now is still sort of overbuilt for what it does.
I think they are talking about a newer one just to have more gaming capability since Apple Arcade is now a thing. But other than that, there's not going to be much more to it. Hopefully, maybe a redesign of the remote control, because that's the single biggest complaint about Apple TV is the remote control. And I kind of agree. So, yeah.
I put that thing in a drawer right after I bought the Apple TV. And you know what I use most of the time now? I use the remote app on my phone.
That is actually pretty good, yeah.
Because you can, if you don't know this, you can actually like pull down on the right side to the little like
control panel.
Yeah, that one.
Yep.
And the remote control is right there.
Yeah.
So you can just use that, and it's faster than like trying to find the right remote.
It is, because when you are like signing up or signing into a service on Apple TV and you have to type in the password, much easier just to use Face ID on your iPhone and be done with it.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, I've tried a bunch of different like universal remotes and stuff like that. I found that using my iPhone is just about as big a pain in the ass. So, which is a mild pain in the ass, but it's like that rash that you get just doesn't quite go away. Is that not something that everybody gets?
There's a pill for that. Sometimes a shot.
Yeah,
I just heard.
I know. So I think we're at the end of the show. I do have an after party set up over on Twitch. So
I don't know if that's a good idea tonight, Jason. To be honest with you.
Why not?
Because you got 375 people here.
I know, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that they're all here. I'm also trying to build up my Twitch. So no, we can hang for a little bit, but I do want to go over there and just kind of let our hair down. Although I don't know that our hair has been up during this podcast at all. You don't have any hair.
I don't have any hair, no.
So what else were we talking about? Because we talked about the 14-inch MacBook Pro mini LED. I'm anxious to see what difference that really makes. Because when I was at CES and at the TCL booth, they had their mini LED TV up against an OLED TV, and there hasn't been much in the world that has been able to put OLED even on the same level as OLED. However, this mini LED, there were times when the mini LED was looking better than the OLED. So I don't think we're ever going to get OLED panels on laptops. Although, I mean, some PC laptops have OLED panels. I don't think it's a good idea because OLED does have the potential for burn-in, even though that potential is much less so these days. So mini LED might be the OLED of laptops, and I'm excited to see what it looks like. But again, like, I don't know. I don't feel excited about buying another MacBook.
Well, I think the 14-inch MacBook is just going to be kind of like what Apple did with the 16-inch. They're going to cram in as much technology as possible. They'll probably put better speakers in there.
It's not a Pro, is it? It's just a regular, isn't it?
That's a MacBook Pro.
Oh, it's going to be a MacBook Pro.
Oh, okay.
So they'll pack in better speakers. They won't do anything with the camera because they never do.
I can't imagine doing video editing on a 14-inch.
I do it every day on my 13-inch. So
Okay, okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
People do it on their 12.9-inch iPads and their 11-inch iPads. So.
True.
But,
Okay.
It'll have the new Citrus Switch keyboard. Thank God, because we know that other butterfly keyboard is trash. So that'll be done. But other than that, besides the mini LED and the improved speakers and the keyboard, I don't think there can be much more to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see if they have dedicated GPUs, because that would be nice. Not all of it. I think some did of the 13-inch models, but not all. And in this day and age, if you want to do anything graphics intensive, you almost have to have a dedicated GPU, but you could get an eGPU. And well, the thing about the eGPU is that when you use an eGPU with an enclosure like that, you're getting about probably 60 to 70% of what the GPU is capable of, just because of the backflow that's caused by the Thunderbolt cable.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, I've got this MacBook over here, and I don't really want it, but I don't want to get another one. I kind of want to get a Mac Mini, but Mac Minis do not have dedicated GPUs. So to get the Mac, I priced it out to get the Mac Mini that I would want. And this isn't even like really speccing it out too hard. To get the Mac Mini that I would want, something like $2,500. $2,500 for a Mac Mini. Why? Because I would have to get the eGPU. And Apple's selling those separately.
Yeah, you and I did this a couple times, right?
Yep.
Priced those out and everything, and
yeah,
they definitely know how to balance things back and forth. So you're kind of forced to go this way, or
yeah. No, you're right.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah, it's a curious thing. I wonder if we'll see a MacBook 16-inch refresh this year.
Already? Didn't the 16 just come out?
Late last year, but we saw 2 refreshes last year. I have the first one from 2019 where they fixed the overheating issues. And then the next one is fixed the keyboard and went 16 inches and stuff like that. So we've seen 2, I think in the past several years, since the butterfly keyboard came out, we've seen a lot of updates, twice a year, almost every year since the butterfly keyboard came out. So it's possible. So Genosa says the Mac Mini probably doesn't have the cooling efficiency for a desktop GPU solution. Well, that's possible, but if you can put an AMD, if you can put an AMD like Ryzen, the 560X in the MacBook, then you could get something in there. But that's the thing. Apple wants to sort of spread the wealth, literally, by making everything almost perfect, except for this one thing, and then you had to buy this one thing, right?
Yep.
It's like with the iMac. At least they went back with the 27-inch iMac, and they allow you to change the RAM, which is definitely nice of them, I suppose. But yeah, still you got to buy more RAM. It's not as expensive, but not everybody is able to buy $200 worth of RAM.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when the computer itself was like $600 or $1,600. So yeah, that's the art of the upsell. The art of the upsell. Samsung does it like a used car salesman, right? Samsung does it like a used car salesman, where they're like, hey, we got this base model over here and it's pretty good, but this model up here it's turbocharged, and it's got the sport package, and I'll throw in clear coat for free,
Whoa.
right?
Clear coat.
And then
Ooh.
suddenly someone's trying to drive an S20 Ultra.
Oh boy.
But Apple does it a different way. You know, they're kind of like an a la carte menu, right? But you know, you get charged extra for the rice. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. It sounded good to me in my head before I said it. Okay. So what's Genosis saying here? Jason, I bet you'll get your Mac Mini when Apple introduces ARM processors for Mac OS products because of thermal efficiency. Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. I don't know.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
There are rumors that Apple may be making over-ear AirPods. What are your thoughts on those?
Can't really be AirPods, right?
Well, whatever they call them.
Oh, I turned the light out.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just accidentally kicked the thing out of the plug. So yeah, this is at 10%. This is 10%. If I go any higher, it's like so Apple's going to bring out over the ear AirPods. You can't really call them AirPods, I hope they don't call them Pro.
ProPod?
Because a set of wireless headphones, I don't care how good it is, I don't care how sexy it looks, set of wireless headphones cannot be Pro.
Ooh.
It can't.
Okay.
I mean, because if you say that an audio product is Pro, then that means a professional in the audio industry could use them for their work.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose could be done, but it would suck.
So you must have a real problem with AirPod Pro and PowerBeat Pro, huh?
Yes, I do. I mean, I actually have a video planned for what Apple means by Pro.
400.
What Apple means by Pro is slightly better.
Yeah, I think we had this discussion when the iPhone 11 were first unveiled or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all I think, Jason, me and you had this discussion. It's all marketing. That's all it is. It's all marketing.
I mean, I guess if you want to look at it one way, it's harmless. It's harmless to do this, to call these things Pro. I don't think anybody is being misled, because nobody would think that a pair of wireless headphones, if you're an audio professional, no one would think like, oh, they now make professional headphones, I'm going to go get those and toss out my Sennheisers. No, that's not going to happen. So it's a victimless crime, but a crime nonetheless.
Victimless crime.
A crime nonetheless. You know, I got issues with Apple's naming conventions. I've got issues with Samsung's sort of like slippery slope marketing plan.
Marketing, yep. Yeah, actually, on my podcast, episode number 32, the truth behind iPhone 11 Pro with Painfully Honest Tech. Yeah, we had a whole podcast talking about this Pro stuff.
Right. Yeah. By the way, you should check out Viper's podcast. Why don't you tell them about it?
Oh, you are so kind. So yes, you guys, your boy Viper has a podcast called Vibe Drop, which I'll put in the chat here in a minute. Just type in Vibe Drop in any of the podcast outlets, and it should pop up. I've had Jason on there a couple of times. Zach has been on there a time or two. Me and Zach need to get together for one more episode with just him and talk about all his things. So we'll be doing that soon. But yeah, check it out. It's cool.
Vibe Drive. Check it out. And if you're here, all 410 of you, I don't know where did you come from, but welcome.
How many people are here now?
410.
Why?
Crazy.
I mean, thank you.
I don't know why. It's a slow night. They don't want to watch the election returns. I don't know. But
I don't understand what's happening to you guys.
Thank you all for being here. And if this is your first time here, I mean, you know, this is the promotional part of the show. I hope you're okay with that. Because if you're not, so what? Subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the podcast itself on your favorite podcast emporium, so that you can get Painfully Honest in your ears and in your eyes as often as you might like. Hit that
Ooh.
notification bell.
He said your favorite podcast emporium. I like that.
That's right. I mean, I don't know what else to call them.
It's a big word.
Emporium. Yeah.
Emporium.
So yeah,
Science.
It has nothing to do with this. I just want to push the button.
it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, there's a link to Zach's channel and there's a link to Viper's channel in the chat from Genosis right now. If you want to check out their channels, those guys make awesome videos. And I'm known to make a few videos myself.
No.
So if anybody here's new, if you're not new, then I'm just preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I mean, it's 405 people in here. A lot of these people are probably these people are not normally here when I'm here, so a lot of them are probably new or just hiding or something. But hello, how you all doing?
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, no doubt.
So let's talk about one more thing and then we'll wrap this thing up. I want to talk about the news that Apple lost their class action suit.
Oh, that's right.
They lost their class action suit where people who had older phones sued them because they slowed their phones down. And yeah, so that's a big win for the people. And for their trouble, each person named in that class action suit will receive $25.
25. Wow.
$25.
Big win.
Woo!
That's right. Oh, we got a real one.
Oh my.
A little slow there.
Yeah. So $25. I mean, okay. So chalk one up for justice. Apple had to take the L. Fine. Maybe they deserve the L. I don't know. Maybe they had good intentions. I don't know. But what I do know is $25 isn't going to change anybody's life. Then again, and slowing down somebody's phone isn't going to change their life either. Well, I mean, I guess you could be in a life and death situation and then need the phone and the battery's dead.
Okay. Let's not take it too far. Let's not go too far. It's not like they were completely throttling their phones out of existence. They were just slowing them down to preserve the battery, more or less. That was about it. But at the time this was all going down, I kind of felt like Apple wasn't really a big deal. I felt like Apple was actually doing the customers a service by prolonging the life of their older iPhone. But I can understand why people were mad. But I mean, now you get paid. So hey, there you go. Somebody in the chat was asking what phones are we carrying personally. I right now have an iPhone 11 Pro Max on. In about 48 hours, I will also have the Galaxy S20 Ultra. So definitely looking forward to that. Jason, what phone are you currently carrying?
The iPhone 11.
Oh, that's right. He went down. That's right.
In this beautiful white color.
That is nice.
I was using the LG G8X, and the front screen on the case broke.
Ooh.
So it wasn't the fault of the phone. I'll say that much. I don't know how it happened, but it might have involved my dogs. I don't know. But yeah, the glass was pretty ragged after that, so I sent it back to Amazon.
Did you ever get your AirPod Pros replaced? I know your dog had a field day with those.
I didn't get the case replaced.
Oh, it's the case, right? With the case. Okay.
And I need to. The case is $100 though.
$90, yes.
Yeah. So it's like, oh man, I already bought the headphones, and you know what? I'm gonna be doing a review of the new AirPod Pro knockoffs from Nockies, which also cost $100 or $90, I think. So anyway, but I just haven't done it. I've got so many headphones coming in these days, that I'm gonna have to get to reviewing them so that I can get back to the headphones that I like.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Zach, you are currently carrying a Note 10 Plus, correct?
Note 10 Plus and iPhone 11 Pro Max.
That's right. He's dual wielding. Yeah.
But I'm gonna reduce down soon.
Reduce.
Just don't know which way. I prefer. I like my Android for everything, and I like my iPhone for creative stuff. If that makes sense. For like YouTube stuff and everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So Order here says, I'm a hardcore Apple hater, but that whole throttling issue was a complete farce. The phone would restart due to lack of voltage if they weren't throttled. Fair enough point. And I don't disagree with you. I mean, there are some things that Apple has done in the name of whatever that are questionable, like touch disease on the iPhone 6s was a big deal. And Apple knew that it had something to do with the phones being able to bend. and they said nothing and they did nothing. So Apple, I like Apple as a company. I've always used Apple products, but they are not without their own problems.
Yeah, all of these companies have their issues. If you're mad at one company, run into another company, you're just running into more problems. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah, and like we were saying before, I mean, you can have your preferences. You can have, if you want to call it a bias, whatever, you can have all that stuff. However, don't delude yourself into thinking that, you know, you are somehow in a community with whoever makes your phone, because you are not.
So, okay, so I know tonight we've been talking about how brands don't care about you and things like that, but I will share real quickly a cool brand experience I had earlier today.
Okay.
So a case company reached out to me because they know I'm getting the S20 Ultra and they wanted to be casing for the S20 Ultra. Me wanted to be 100% transparent with the company, told them, I said, listen, before you guys send these casings to me, just know I will not be making any dedicated videos on these casings for the S20 Ultra because that is no longer part of my content strategy. Now, if you don't want to send me the casings, that's cool. Now when the new iPhone come out later this year, I will be making dedicated case video because that's more of my content. But for these S20 Ultras, it's not happening. The company, to my surprise, came back and said, you know what, that's okay. We don't expect creators to make cases and things like that. We are just trying to support the tech community. Now, whether that was company speak or just whatever, I don't know. But I don't have any reason to believe that the company would BS to me. And I think they're still going to send me the S20 casing. So there are brands out here that are pretty damn cool. They're not all just alpha blood, but
No,
by and large, just know that more often than not, they only care about your pocketbooks, and that's about it.
My policy is unless I'm getting a Christmas or birthday card from them, they don't care.
well, then if you're Marquez Brownlee, you get a birthday cake from LG.
Everybody gets a birthday cake from LG, though.
No, I didn't get one. I can't even get them to return an email. I plug their products everywhere. I love their products, and they won't even return an email.
That's
Well,
not cool.
look at your situation at CES. They didn't know what was going on.
I've seen a bunch of those LG influencer cakes though over the year.
I want a cake made in like with something that looks like me on it.
I'm pretty sure we can make that happen.
Take your profile picture, red glasses.
I'm about to say we got to have the glasses though. The glasses have to be a part of the cake.
Yeah, it just frosting. That's all it has to be. Make sure that my eyes are blue, because they are. That's something that people don't usually know because they're behind the glasses. But in terms of this, one point that I wanted to make earlier about sort of putting our faith in brands, and sort of worshiping them, because we do. I mean, there may be some corollary between the sort of the, I don't want to say the dissolution, but the decrease in people attending religious activities and sort of like this brand worship that goes on as well. Because I mean, if you're a regular TV watcher, if you're somebody who puts on Good Morning America or something like that, you're being sold from the jump, from the get-go. You are being sold, and you're being sold every single second that you're on that. Sometimes you're being sold fear, sometimes you're being sold hand sanitizer because of the fear. But you're always being sold something. And if you don't have that in the back of your mind as you're looking at this stuff, then you wake up one day and you're like, what is this crap? I got tons of crap here. In fact, that's been a problem for me recently. Like, I'm sort of embarrassed by the amount of stuff that I bought. Right? It's like, yes, most of it is useful in some significant way, but I think like tech obsession, tech addiction maybe, is something that's worth talking about at some point as well. I've got that as a video idea down, because after a point, and I've recognized this in myself, and that's why I'm talking about it. Like, just wanting to get that Amazon package doesn't matter. Sometimes it doesn't matter if it has hand soap in it. because I did get an Amazon package with hand soap in it today.
Mhm.
But it, just that rush, the adrenaline, we used to get that from hunting our food. And now we get it from hunting our tech or our clothes or whatever. We're still very basic beasts that have very basic needs. And we're insecure beasts. We need to feel good about ourselves. And sometimes having this phone over that phone or that car over this car becomes a part of your identity.
Yeah.
And if part of your identity is an inanimate object that you purchased, slow down for a second. Think about it. I mean, I love my car. I love my computers. I love my guitars. I love that. I love the stuff because I've had personal experiences with it that are very valuable to me. But, I tend not to feel like, well, because I have a Gibson guitar, I'm like Gibson is special to me or I'm special to them. They do smell good though. The lacquer smells like vanilla.
Really?
I tell you, even if you don't play guitar, go into a guitar store and just open up a Gibson electric guitar case. It smells like vanilla, like really, really strong. It's very nice. Let's see.
That's a good point there, Frank.
Yeah, okay. When Best Buy banned me from returning stuff, that might have been a sign of tech addiction.
Might.
But I still claim extenuating circumstances on that one. I got 3 defective computers in a row. So of course I'm going to take them back. Like, that's what the return policy is for.
Mm-hmm.
So at any rate, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up tonight. I think we've got all the stuff we need. I think we've had a boisterous discussion as always. And I want to thank everybody who's been here checking in. It's really
407.
Yeah, hopefully you guys will be back again. Make sure to subscribe and podcast the thingy and all that, and visit our sponsor Audible, audibletrial.com/painfully honest tech. Get you 1 month of Audible free, 1 free Audible book, and 2 Audible originals. What book should I recommend? I'm just going to say the Edward Snowden book. Edward Snowden's book, because it'll scare the living crap out of you.
Maximum tinfoil.
Yes. Yeah. So Genosis has kindly put the link in the chat if you want to click on that and go do that thing. It really does support the channel and support the podcast. Much appreciated. And other than that, what do we really have to talk about? I'd like to say thank you all for being here. I'd like to say thank you to Viper for being here. Woo! I'd like to say thank you to Zach for being here. And me. You know who I am. I'm ASMR Jason.
Zach, you need to work on a soundbite for yourself, buddy.
Yeah, you got to get it. Anyway.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
It's true. So, thank you people for being here tonight. Really do appreciate it. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This has been the Painfully Honest Tech podcast. Podcast so honest it hurts. Until the next time, we are out.